Hello, Tapioca Hearts signing in. Welcome back to Heaven Will Be Mine. Last time was one hell of an encounter between Pluto and Lunaterra. It was spicy, it was argumentative, but it was yearnful all at the same time. And it really just like wanted me to take a deeper look into Lunaterra's motives and like what she's after, what she's going for with all these betrayals. And honestly, it seems to me so far like her character is reading as someone who has like no confidence in herself to accomplish the things that are meaningful to her. And so she doesn't want to drag down the people around her or let them down if she believes in their cause. And that may be exactly why she left Pluto. It very well could be the case that she initially joined Cradle's Graces and Pluto's cause because it appealed to her and she wanted to like be with them and help elevate the cause. But she felt as though she couldn't attain it and she was going to drag down Pluto if she stayed. But she actually does believe in Pluto's cause, so she left in order to make it easier for Pluto, so to speak. But Pluto doesn't want that, and I don't think Lunaterra really wants that deep down either. And I think they're going to need to have even more conversations to really work out the messy history that those two seem to have brewed before this game even started. But with that being said, it's Pluto's playthrough right now, so we get to experience her side of things, see more of her story. Um, and we're going to start that by doing deep dive. But because we've already done deep dive in the playthrough, check out episode 4, I believe. Like, there's not much I need to see here that hasn't already been seen. So I'm gonna skip through it for the most part, other than like the bare bones like Pluto interacting with Mars that I think is gonna be very fun as always. I really like Mars, y'all. I actually really enjoy them as a character. Completely like randomly, but their personality and the way they get like so flustered when Pluto teases them is amazing. I find them to be adorable, but also kind of relatable. Regardless, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through deep dive and just see what's going on there. It's probably gonna be the exact same, but I'll pick the different alignment thing like just in case, and I'm gonna keep doing that honestly until I get to a point in the game where I need to pick a certain alignment so that I can get the Memorial Foundation ending as Pluto. But until then, it's easy. It's an easy flight. It's easy operations. Just gotta skip through old dialogue. But for now, it's new dialogue. Is she operational? Mars. All checks clear. Honey. Oh boy, what's going on here? Dual tidal resonator sync clears all checks. It's close enough to tear a moon inside out. But she wants to talk about something else, I'd imagine. There's something else going on in that brain of hers. And you're really still sure about this? Mars, I love you very much, and I'm going to scream if you ask me one more question. What? That is a question. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. I love these two. Pluto just blank. Ah, Pluto! Sorry, I just couldn't back off after saying that. My soul hurts. Why did you do that? Do what? Blank emoji? Like, because you didn't listen to me. I was listening. You didn't listen. You've got such a big heart and you don't listen with it at all. I don't want you to go. That's better. It's what you really wanted to say. I'm glad you could say it. I think like Mars has to be worried about Pluto, right? Like worried about Pluto going into the oxygen ocean, into such a dangerous environment where like even someone as powerful as her might not be able to find her way out. But you're not going to listen to it. Nope. You could at least offer, or after you just said, not at all. Don't sulk. This was always the plan. We have to show everyone what this weapon can actually do. Well, Mars is just terrified by this entire prospect. This is just a taste, but no one is going to respect what we do on the moon if we can't grab their attention first. Destroying the whole Celestial Mechanics fleet while they're docked at the oxygen ocean is going to get some attention. Even if I only destroy them a little bit, it'll be pretty amazing, so it's a job that's impossible to mess up. Yeah, but we all know how it really goes, and she does, in a fashion, mess it up. I find that line interesting, though, what they're going to do on the moon. So I guess the plan was always to stabilize the, what's it called? The gravity well on the moon, and like that's what the entire like game builds up to on day 8. That's like the purpose of these missions, is to secure that position and to get that mission done. That was probably very easy to understand, like even in the Saturn playthrough, and I just have like a goldfish brain. It's okay, we're not gonna worry about it. If you keep worrying, what else am I supposed to think except I must seem that incompetent to you? I care, okay? I'm not mad, Mars. But let me lean on you while I do this. I also would like to lean on Pluto and Mars. I mean, what? Don't worry about it. Instead of blocking my way. Alright. So last time, I checked this before the episode this time because I'm growing my brain because I'm smart. I chose Share a Secret Moment Deep Down last time to favor Celestial Mechanics. So this time I'm going to choose Get in a Tug of War Above the Waves. Favor Cradle's Graces. Let's do this. And let's see if it's similar. Because I also looked through it again to see, like, what the dialogue was. So now it's, like, fresh in my memory. So if it's, like, the same, I'll be able to skip through it pretty easily. I won't have to, like, look anything up. The balance shifts because Pluto tugs and Saturn tugs harder. Excuse me? Deep. So deep. Crushing and dark. But the string of pearls has organs that see everything. Smoky and cold, she slips down in a stream of evaporation, just shy of being the spark that blows it all up. Oh goodness gracious, that's right. If like if you light like the tiniest spark in the oxygen ocean, like girl, you're literally detonating a galactic bomb. Whatever's down there, but don't play dumb, because Saturn knows exactly who and what's down there, is playing coy. That's Pluto's way of things. Oh, interesting. Do you have the same idea, Pluto? Breaking up. Tidal interfere. Cutting off comms. Well, now I don't have to cut the comm line myself. Yep, I remember that distinctly. Saturn doesn't have to play by anyone's rules, even and especially the rules of the universe. It's made of a last-minute miracle. It loves it best when it's just waiting on the edge between one possibility and another, tempting fate and not caring where it lands. Pluto doesn't cross the rules. She's the universe itself. A perfect target for Saturn. And the wall she crashes against. She's not playing coy. She's looking for someone to crash against her. From the depths, Prune Macula tugs, but playfully. String of Pearls takes the invitation and yanks back not so playfully at all. Alright. Time for makeout wreath. Time for the flirting to begin. One dance similar to one we've seen before. Hey boo, do you want to play? I sure do. But come up and play my game. Oh, sure, if you can make me. Prune Macula is the plunge into fascination, a fall omnidirectional into the end of the universe. Prune Macula can drown the ocean in her gravity, but String of Pearls has the greatest trick. The String of Pearls cheats distance. She can't ignore it, but she can interpret it differently. So FX equals an anxious avoidant. I remember the fucking FX conversation because I remember being so confused by the math of it all. And I think I went on a tangent complaining about math. It doesn't matter. Math isn't hard for Saturn, but girl, it is for me. Mercury would be screaming if the comms were still on because this is a big risk, the most dangerous and guaranteed way to get the Celestial Mechanics fleet wrecked if she isn't careful, and even if she is. Honestly, I'm surprised how much Mercury is coming up in the Pluto playthrough. I mean, I guess these are the same missions, and maybe Mars came up a lot in the Saturn playthrough, and I just didn't register or don't remember it. That's a very real possibility. Yup. Closing distance is mutual. If Saturn wants to change the rules, then Pluto will let her. She'll be the one to set the variable. No matter what Saturn sets FX to, Pluto sets the force. She can go slack if she wants to. Saturn's equation is something like Fx equals the closer you approach, the further I move away. A hard equation to solve. Are you up to it? Oh, I'm very up to it. Well, let's play this game. Let's dance. Let's chase each other around. I don't think this is the same. I don't think it is, but I could be completely and entirely wrong. There's one thing that if it happens, I'll know for sure it's the same. Along the equations of gravity, Saturn fires hooks. They wouldn't have hit without the equation, but it was the moment of Pluto's curiosity that they bet on. That is enough. The ocean plunges, the ships rock. Emergency retraction, maximum output. Okay. I was trying not to cause so much trouble. I just wanted to delay you for a little while. But if you really insist, I'll come make all the trouble you want. That's funny, considering how hard you've been wrecking the Celestial Mechanics fleet. I'd almost think you weren't going easy at all. Saturn is pulling hard, but it's like trying to pull a star out of a black hole. But something about the way Pluto reacts makes Saturn think it might still be possible. I'm pretty sure it is. I could be wrong. You're working hard. I was just sent to make sure you all didn't have an easy time. I've never worked hard, ever. You sound like a kind of liar. You're sure you're not still a bit good? I remember this line. I definitely remember this line. Say it to my face. Saturn's voice has been completely lost on me. Okay, if you really, really insist, I can get carried away too. It's because there's a certain inflection I take with Saturn that I associate it with very specific phrases that she says. So when she's not saying those phrases, it's harder for me to match the inflection, you know? Saturn's capture cables go slack. and she shoots up and out of the ocean, pulled by the panicking surface crew. I don't remember this. Is this one fucking different? Oh no, that inconsistency is gonna kill me. The equation input has changed. The number Pluto has changed it to gives Saturn a thrill. As the oxygen tidal wave starts building, the ocean trembles. The fleet sees and nearly capsize. But Saturn breaks out of the liquid and into the sky, and Pluto is pulled up and out and free. The crude macula is more frightening and powerful than Saturn remembered. But she can't be scared now. Well, maybe she can, just a little. But this is what she wanted too. A beautiful solution to her equation. It's hard to know someone if you haven't fought them. That's something she's known for a long time. The pain of wondering if you just aren't good enough to stand next to someone. She'd prefer to know where she stands. For Pluto, who was made to be so overwhelming that in her presence no other option but peace can exist, she doesn't have anything to prove to herself. Win or lose, she's open when others are honest. Between ship selves, all conflict must be honest. It's the only way to make a contact. That's the moment she's waiting for, to give life to all the feelings unleashed when she decided she'd let herself have them. See, I kind of remember this. I remember this conversation. I remember going on like an analytical train of thought, like discussing the link between ship selves and the inherent romanticism and like journey of mutual understanding that fighting like naturally employs in especially queer media. I remember this. But also I have a goldfish brain and y'all are gonna have to bear with me. I apologize. The Celestial Mechanics fleet can't do anything but wait and think about how this is probably all Saturn's fault. You're strange, Saturn. I don't know what to think. You think you can't win, but you're trying anyway. What do you want to make happen? So sure and unsure of yourself. Just come on already. We can't all be gravitational beauties. Tides come from people, and people are people. Whether they get there being taught or being made. Subject matter. Bleh. I think I said that exact same thing before. I don't know. Keep the pity out of your voice or I won't be having fun anymore. I don't pity you. I was very lucky. There's no reason why I got to be so lucky. But I'm selfish too. I didn't deserve it, but I'll never feel guilty about it. I had too much at stake to feel guilty when I got everything I wanted. I mean, shit, yeah. When you have everything handed to you, even if it's like, I suppose, built in blood, or bathed in blood, I should say. When you have everything to lose, it can still, like, be validating and feel good. At least, like, from Pluto's perspective, you know? I get where she's coming from. But also, I get where Saturn's coming from, why Saturn feels jealous, why Saturn feels hateful, because of the fact that Pluto was so, like, pampered and gifted and like raised up by Dr. Nyx and Japetus, like the leaders of the world, to be this perfect like ship self-pilot, while Saturn, upon like not being gifted that, was just kind of left to her own devices, left to be second best always, even in her own faction. I know exactly how that feels. Unlike you, though, they took it away again when they were done with me. Oh, it looks like they weren't able to for very long, though. You won't get anywhere with girls if you insist on believing you had it the worst. Every girl has had it the worst. Oh, God, Pluto, fucking talk the truth. That is a very real sentence. Every girl has had it the worst. You know, I liked it better when I was dragging you. Are you ready to try again? Teach me a lesson or get over yourself. And let me see what's under that envy. Saturn's got a good idea. Even as the Croon Macula tosses the fleet apart with tidal forces, the string of pearls closes in. She could be as close as touch, yet always out of reach. This time she sets FX to as close as can be. Oh my goodness, that's right, she's like Gojo. That's just what comes to my mind every time you're as close as you can be to touch, but always out of reach. I just think of Gojo's like infinite like curse technique or whatever. I haven't actually read JJK, but like it's Gojo. Everyone knows him. Of course, that's in the crush of her gravity well. But that's fine, because Saturn has dedicated her life to being a fucked up loser. I thought for sure I could make you squirm, but you're so perfect. You're even better at accepting that than well, what? But you're so perfect. You're even better at accepting that you're not perfect than me. You're even better at accepting that you're not perfect than me. Okay, there we go. Got through it. But that's not to say that I'll let you up for a moment, no matter how bad at this I am. I love that. It's a great thing about you. You don't know how strong your belief is. Now I'm beginning to worry, because this is definitely different. Now I'm beginning to worry if, like, the mission before, in episode, the episode the other day, I think it was 12. Now I'm beginning to worry that the mission in episode 12 with oh actually wait, I think it was episode 11. Whatever. I'm beginning to worry that the previous Saturn Pluto mission that I did was different and I just didn't notice it and I kind of jumped the gun and rushed through it. I'm worried about that. I might need to go back and like really compare and contrast and see what's going on there. And hopefully I can re-access that save file and do it again if it is different. Because I want to show off like all the missions in the game, all the unique stuff, you know? Not sure what to do about that. I'm worried about it though. I'll keep it in mind. You know you're going to lose, but fight anyway. Believe you're going to win even still. I always win when I lose. I would never go in if I didn't know that. Oh, here we go. Electrotoxic waves sting the Croon Macula as she embraces the string of pearls. It's like making out with a battery. It's uncomfortably like getting electrocuted, but comfortably like making out. Hell yeah. Honestly, should I say that? I don't think I should say that. But okay. They're making out with each other. That's what we're all here for, isn't it? How long can you keep that up? How long can you last if you're crushed like this? What? Isn't this a great idea? Being crushed like a pancake under you is great. Fuck yes, I'm here for it. We are diving deep into the Yuri, folks, just like always. You're really incorrigible. I love it. But I can yeah, but I can last longer than you can. I'm sure you can, Pluto. Maybe, but is it worth it? You're not able to waste time like I can. I'll make it way worse for you. But I can keep this up. I've got nothing to lose. Yeah, but there's a little bit of bead of sweat going down your cheek, girl. That's so selfish and ridiculous. It's the worst for everyone. I love it. It's really kind of outrageous how much I love it. I can't believe it. Okay, you win. Even though your side objectively loses, what do you want? Saturn's weapons are slow and fizzle, but Pluto doesn't quite let go. Just hearing I won is all I want. You're really right about yourself. You're totally the worst. I wish I could be just like that. Oh, okay. Honestly, I'm just glad Saturn's ego is getting fulfilled a little bit here. Yeah, she's getting validated, she's getting praised. She's getting a hint of jealousy out of Pluto for her situation, which is kind of a bit of reverse of what she was feeling, which has to be like so gratifying, right? When you're a little brat like that and you get your way from the pretty older lady. Like, absolutely. I say older lady. Realistically, she's probably like maybe like 2 or 3 years older. Also, I'm loving the OST as always. Next time we meet, I'll show you. Okay, well, there we go. That was definitely different. That was very, very different. Um, 25% to Cradle's Graces, 25% to Memorial Foundation. There we go. That's that. I I'll get to the comms now. That was an interesting difference. They didn't bond nearly as much, I would say. And in fact, they kind of only I guess I wouldn't say that they didn't bond, but more so that they also this is a terrifying message to see when I first open comms, but it's not that they didn't bond, it's that they bonded in a different way. It wasn't nearly as tender, it wasn't nearly as intimate. It was more confrontational, I would say. It was more confrontational and it was more like both of them took away something that they wanted from it instead of both of them kind of giving themselves up. But they did still grow closer, I would say. Either way, let's read this bombshell. Do you ever miss Lunaterra? What? No! In case you've forgotten, she betrayed us and went back to Memorial Foundation. I know you want her back because you're kind and forgiving, but I'm not. And I'll kick her butt if I ever see her again. Yeah, but Pluto already pegged you in that regard, Mars. Like, we know you actually care about her. But that's no different than how you two used to be. You two only fight less now. That's the part that's sad. She was always smug, always a know-it-all, and always one step ahead. The worst senior pilot, and she didn't teach me shit. Breakups really do turn all your memories sour, huh? Fuck yeah, they do. That's... Shut up. Lunatic is the only one I feel that way about. I know you pine after good girls way too much. I think dating bad people is good for you. Oh goodness, Mars likes bad girls. Terrible news for me. But like you can really tell that like Mars misses what they and Lunaterra had, regardless of what it was, regardless of how um mean spirited it might have seemed on the surface, how much they seemed to have fought against one another. I think it really came from a place of rivalry, a place of camaraderie, and a place of love. If I have to go through that again, no thanks. The only thing I miss is the expression on her face after I got one up on her. Her smile, you mean? Yeah, the smile only a rival can give. You miss it too. I do. I love Lunaterra's smile. I wish she smiled more, as much as Pluto or Saturn does. Even if Saturn is giving a sarcastic smile half the time. I'm glad you can get nostalgic sometimes, too. Do you miss the days of the Cold War, fighting against the existential threat, too? It was scary in a different way. It was so easy I never had to think about it. Tearing through that ephemeral light that was only sort of there. It was scary because we didn't know what would happen or what it was. But we didn't need to know any of those answers. and we just got to fight forever. It was fun. Until I came along. What do you mean? If you think about it, it was me, wasn't it? Before they even finished the crude macula, even in just the prototype. In my first provisional mission, I wiped out the enemy in the time it took to blink. What is going on with Pluto? She's so kick-ass. And they haven't come back since. Before, it was fun for everyone. You were strong, but it was still hard. But there was no point in sending all of you out to protect Earth when it turned out the existential threat was so weak I could destroy it with the snap of a finger. That's reversing cause and effect. They just used that as an excuse to stop caring about colonization. Even if it was never a threat to our existence, they didn't have to give up on everything. They're talking about how they bowed out, like Memorial Foundation, how they bowed out of sending girls and just people in general to space, like after taking care of the existential threat, because they realized they didn't really need to be out there. Earth is still a viable option, but no, now that these girls are in space, they're sticking out there. They want to be there. There's freedom there that can't be found on Earth. The freedom of being beautiful, like galaxy lesbians, quite frankly. It's not your fault. Channel closed. Alright, emails. Subject: Alien Phenomena and the Pilot Program. Origin: Tidal Mechanics Research Archives. Author: Director of Sociomechanics, Japetus. The Scout program was created. Wait a fucking second. Scouts! The summer scouts, you know, from We Know the Devil. Gotta keep an eye out for that. The Scout program was created to be fungible with various other religions or philosophies in direct response to the immediate post-war need to address growing existential threats. As a stopgap measure, the Memorial Foundation has had frustrations with indefinite extensions of scouting programs internationally, and mostly universal failure to advance beyond the need for it. The model, or more specifically, the Scouts, were a victim of the space program's own success at fighting the Cold War. With support for a unified approach to space in order to prevent human cultural rivalry, the Memorial Foundation has been granted an opportunity to revise the scouting program and change the reactive war of attrition into a proactive one, and confront the existential threat directly. The existential threat is the alien threat. We must think of them as one and the same. What is not known to us is the alien. The alien is defined by that most familiar function. Fx equals that which is human that humans are not. A fascinating logical paradox of much utility in research is the thought exercise. Imagine something, I feel like I remember this email. Imagine something that humans could not imagine. Logically, you should not be able to do it. Okay, yeah, I remember this exact train of thought that Japetus was on. Honestly, pontificating in every sense of the word. Oh boy. But it is interesting that scouts were meant to, and like, literally meant to scout out people who would be good for the space program. I wonder who they were looking for then, because it felt like the scout program was very much meant to, like, be a correctional program for bad kids, quote unquote. But they seem to be sending all the bad girls to space anyways. So what's going on there? It's fascinating. What is their true goal? Sometimes I feel like they want to study the quote unquote bad girls, the gay girls and the trans girls of society. toss them out into space or who knows what and see what they do with their identities. And sometimes it feels like they want to stamp them out and block them off. It's difficult to parse. Anyways, subject, origin, direct message, author, Mars. Fine, fine. Okay, I know I didn't get to the point, but I have to build it up, okay? The contextualizing information is important. But okay, I will actually talk about it this time, alright? Mechanical interface is how machines typically work. You're going to yell at me for not being clear if I don't say this, but if I say that's when you've got physical switches and buttons and steering devices and you move them with your hands, that doesn't actually really convey it. Because you do those things in your ship self, but you don't use mechanical interfacing. Yeah, it's all like neurological interfacing, isn't it? So it actually matters that it is defined as exact mental instruction. Yeah, it does exactly what you tell it. You can make anything you want to happen, but you have to give it exact instructions. There's the physical lag between yourself and the machine, but there's also the nuanced nature of giving the instructions. It's all about visualization and intent. Thank you, Warbreaker, for helping me understand this, but it's easy to understand regardless. There's a really hard thing to do. Obviously, that's a really hard thing to do. Obviously, most people would prefer to move a machine on raw instinct or like part of their body. I don't think many people actually get the best results from an interface like that. Unless, yes, they're like our mutual ex. Hey, is that why you wanted to know? I wonder who their mutual ex is. Is it Lunaterra? Is Lunaterra considered an ex of theirs in this situation? I'm not sure. I don't think many people actually get the best results. Interesting. Mutual ex. Is that why you wanted to know? Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a drink of water real fast. Our next mission is Rift in the Earth. After her maiden voyage, Cradles Graces is testing the finishing touches on the terrifying Croon Macula prototype. It's a chance for Lunaterra to defeat their trump card. But will she close the rift between them instead, or only widen it deeper? Ooh, that's gonna be exciting. That's gonna be a fun one to get into. Um, do 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 do. Do I do this one right now? Should I do this right now or save it for next time? Because my initial plan for this episode was to do both of these missions in one episode. But since Deep Dive ended up being completely different um, from the one back in episode 4, I actually spent a lot more time on it, which means, yeah, I'm running close to 40 minutes and uh, haven't even started this mission yet, quite frankly. So since Deep Dive was so different and I haven't like experienced Rift in the Earth at all yet, honestly, I think it is fair to just save this one for next time and dedicate a whole episode to it. So I will get to Rift in the Earth and see what's going on there and progress further through the Pluto playthrough. Next time in Heaven Will Be Mine. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.